everyone, and welcome back to Identity Insights by Indicio. I'm your host, Tim Spring, and today I'm joined by Indicio software engineer Alex Walker, and she's here to discuss the new work that Indicio is doing in partnership with BC Gov. Thank you for joining me today, Alex. Would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Hello, I'm Alex. I'm a software engineer here at Indicio, and I work in the digital identity space and help contribute to and maintain ACAPI, or Aries Cloud Agent Python.
All right, awesome. And in your own words, could you describe this project for BC Gov for us?
Yes, so the project stems from a Code with Us that the government of British Columbia, or BC Gov, created. The Code with Us essentially asked the community to make a load generator with certain qualifications. Thus, Indicio applied and got accepted.
All right, and what is a load generator in this context?
So here, the desire is the load generator will be a tool to help simulate a whole bunch of users slamming a system like all at once. So in this case, for example, a scenario could look like having a user form a connection with an ACAPI agent over mediation, maybe receiving a credential, and also asking to verify that credential, all over mediation. So all of this is like quite hefty, especially with more than one user. So this can take a significant toll on a system in a very short period of time.
All right, makes sense. So could you walk us through kind of the application process? What did it entail, and why was Indicio selected to do this work?
Yeah, so it was just a general application that they had on their Code with Us website. But I would say, like, the application, of course, is filling out questions and certain things and how we're going to present the materials. But most of the application consisted of constructing an architecture for that load generator and then arguing why that specific architecture would fit their qualifications.
All right, and what was our argument? Why does Indicio's architecture fit the specifications?
So the nitty gritty. So our load testing repo uses Locust and Aries framework JavaScript, where Locust is the main core code base for load testing. And the decision to use Locust, which you could have used any framework, but our decision was based on the prioritization of the ability to easily cluster the ability to easily cluster our code and thus horizontally scale it. So that just means horizontally scale means like add more machines. It was easier to do that. B, the simplicity in which to do so. So it was really easy. And C, also the well-supported community behind Locust. Locust's main focus is on the performance of HTTP-based interfaces, which is actually perfect for putting this action into the Aries DIDCOM world, as well as having the ability to extend support if needed for other protocols. Additionally, we're using AFJ, Aries Framework JavaScript, for the bidirectional secure communication protocol, otherwise known as DIDCOM. AFJ was chosen because many DIDCOM clients are written and use AFJ. So by using AFJ as the client, our load testing simulator can thus best simulate real-world clients. So with these code bases, I came prepared. If we throw a diagram onto our screen somewhere, our architecture looks something like this. At the top, we have what Locust calls a master node, and it controls like the bottom worker VMs. And for extra scalability, we can throw these worker VMs into a managed instance groups and then behind a load balancer. So as we're scaling these bottom VMs, we're scaling the amount of AFJ subprocesses and thus the amount of simulated users very easily and efficiently.
All right, very cool. So once this work is completed, right, how does it really affect the day-to-day lives of either a user or a developer?
Awesome. So it'll be a little while before everything's like out in the wild, but it'll help simulate all of these users in whatever scenario best fits their use cases. So when you put it into action, it can help identify certain bottlenecks or problematic areas of their environment.
So this sounds a little bit familiar in that it sounds a little bit like the mediator breakthrough that I think we discussed a little while back. Is this kind of some similar work that Indicio is doing?
Yeah, I think that's why Indicio might have been chosen. The only difference is the scenario for BC Gov, and then they also have a different cloud provider than the one we initially constructed on. So it's just kind of migrating that environment with possibly some improvements and things particularly orientated towards BC Gov and to help them and also to help the community. So the main thing we'll be contributing is a lot of walkthroughs and tutorials and videos.
So what is the plan to get this work implemented?
So the project is broken up into two phases. The first smaller phase will be to create a particular scenario to BC Gov's own nefarious purposes to do an arbitrary ratio of credential issuances to verifications over mediation, as well as writing up the documentation about how to spin up the non-clustered environment for whatever cloud provider that BC Gov chooses. Additionally, during this time, we'll see if we can tackle upgrading AFJ and investigate whether or not we'll migrate to Bun for a possible performance boost. And the second phase will be mainly documentation and video walkthroughs on how to A, set up the clustered environment, and also B, arguably, I would say the longest and hardest part, teaching how to debug the environment, how to find bottlenecks, and anything else that can go wrong with the system. So this will be really not only great for BC Gov, but also the community for helping find their own problems and bottlenecks.
No, it sounds super exciting. Do you have any kind of timeline on when this might be usable for the community or BC Gov?
Officially, December 8th.
Awesome, that's pretty quick. So it looks like that is about our time for today. I appreciate you taking some time to speak with us today, Alex. If you at home are interested in learning more about verifiable credential technology, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll continue to bring you some more updates from the community and any new news that's happening. If you have any questions or specific topics that you'd like to hear about from us, please go ahead and leave a comment below. We'll be sure to read and address them. Thank you again to you, Alex. If someone was interested in learning a bit more about this topic, where would you suggest they look?
Yes, as you already mentioned, I would highly recommend checking out our blog about this, as this has garnered a lot of attention. And you can also see some of the initial numbers that we've gathered for this work. Additionally, if a blog is not up your alley, Tim and I also did an identity insights video about this very topic. So I hope that helped.